Short answer,
Yes.
but the real question is, why is this game so hard? Well, I'm going to talk about it, so buckle up and get ready for some truthing, and be sure to subscribe. So first let's talk about the terrain. A lot of these enemies are very secluded in small areas, with very little room for you to use like your downward move, even after swapping your crest a couple times. Not to mention that most of these boss rooms are actually really tiny, and even this boss makes the arena even smaller when summoning vines. I've also seen a bunch of videos of people struggling with this part in the plant area, which makes sense. It's actually kind of hard to turn around and then use the downward dive, after using it in a different direction. So I don't blame people for getting mad at this, but it does get better when you unlock other crests to change your moveset, so it's not always a struggle. Another thing I want to talk about is these rooms where they shove a bunch of waves of enemies at you. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of them are very easy, but there is just one that I struggled on, and that was this one. And I think it's kind of my fault that I struggled on it, because I don't think you're actually supposed to do this room when I did. But honestly, I wouldn't be too afraid of these rooms. If you do everything in order, there really shouldn't be an issue. So next, let's talk about damage, baby. And let's just say a lot, and I mean a lot of people have an issue with this one. And some of it's valid. You see, a lot of bosses have what people call double damage, meaning they do 2 hits per attack, and when you have 5 hit points, this means you only survive 2 hits before dying. And even some regular enemies that you just encounter also do double hits, so they really suck. And to be honest, this kind of goes back to the terrain, since sometimes when you do a boss fight and die, there's a sizable walk back to the boss's arena, and a lot of the time you encounter enemies that are just really annoying, so you take damage before you get to the boss fight, and that just really sucks. Not to mention that enemies just attack really fast, so by the time you dodge whatever they first throw at you, the second move is already coming. And I think this is a perfect segue into the bosses themselves, at least the ones that I've faced so far. So if you watched my last video, you already know how I feel about these bosses. And if you haven't watched the other video, I mean, what are you doing? Go watch the video. After this one, don't watch it yet, watch it after this video. Please finish this one first. But the first boss I want to talk about is the Savage Beastfly. Fuck this boss. If you know anything about me, you know that I hate it when bosses summon enemies to fight with or for them. And guess what the Savage Beastfly does? Summons enemies. And this guy summons the most annoying enemies of them all. This guy attacks in like some weird AoE thing. This guy's literally invincible after you hit them. And this little bitch fly is just annoying. He dashes around the room in like really weird ways, so sometimes some of his moves are just realistically not possible to dodge when you are already inputting something. However, he is capable of killing his own guys, so that is an added plus. He also does double hits, so this guy is literally kitted out the wazoo. This MF took me like an hour to beat. This boss literally gave me a midlife crisis. The next boss is the Sister, and do you want to take a freaking guess on what she does? Yup, you guessed it, she summons enemies. They just can't help themselves anymore. To be fair, these enemies are a whole lot easier to take out than the other guys, so pretty much all I did was use my AoE slash move on them, and just use regular attacks on her. But she does summon vines out of the ceiling that make it a whole lot harder to dodge her attacks. But speaking of her attacks, it's actually like really basic and there's really nothing to worry about with her. She realistically isn't super hard, but I did struggle a bit at first. Literally 1 HP. Literally 1 HP. Let's go! Let's go! Second to last boss is this big guy here. His attacks are pretty basic and not too hard to dodge. He has this dash move, this jump move, and he can make rocks fall from the ceiling. So like I said, pretty basic. Well, I did actually die a handful of times at the start. But most importantly though, this boss is actually kind of unique, in the way that his dash ability actually is a triple hit move and does 3 hits to you. But like, you're also most likely not going to get hit by this. It's his easiest move to dodge, so actually, this is a lie. I wasn't actually looking at the footage when I made the script and was reading from it, but when I entered the fight for the first time, I didn't know that I was missing 1 HP. So I thought when he hit me with his dash ability for the first time, he took away 3 hit points. But he actually didn't. So that's my bad. But fun fact, you actually fight this boss twice. One on this part of the map, and one by accepting this quest in the starting town, because when I accept quests, I just kind of accept them. I don't really read them because I know I'm just going to do them later. But I wasn't expecting after just doing the quest, it would just throw me into it. But that's exactly what they did. So be ready. The last bossington I want to talk about is the Widow. Now I actually really respect this guy. And do you know why? It's because he doesn't summon enemies and he fights with his own strength and powers. Not to mention this is the only boss to have a real second phase, which is really cool. Here's my reaction to that. Yes, dude, let's go. Are you fucking kidding me? What? Bro, he's turbo mode. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. He tricked me. I let my guard down, dude. And he also just has really cool attacks. Like, look at this move. This is sick. He pretty much just launches bells at you, and he does have this little dive attack, and he just kind of goes after you a couple times. And he's kind of a coward because he just teleports a bunch. He's actually really fast. So for a little bit of the fight, I actually did end up using like these, the throwable weapons. And I also got an item that coats him in poison, which I think is really cool. But after you kill him, you get this music, like, attack thing. It's not even really an attack, but it's pretty cool. Because your Bell Beast actually really likes the music. And he's just really cute. You like that? He really likes that. Yes! I will not take any slander on the Bell Beast. But I'm actually not done talking about the bosses. In fact, there's one last fight I want to talk about, which I accidentally forgot to record. That's my bad. But it's pretty much this boss and this like flying ant guy. And at first you wouldn't think too much of it. In fact, I didn't think too much of it. I thought this was going to be a very easy fight. But it turns out it was not. It was really not. As it turns out actually, these guys have synergy beyond synergy. This fight took me like a really long time to beat. And guess what? It's really not even worth it. Because all you get after you beat them is just a bunch of rosaries. Which, yeah, for most people is fine enough. But not for me. I wanted like a crest or something. And that's just not what I got. I'm pissed. I will say that some enemies and bosses in this game are extremely hard. I've struggled for hours on some of these guys. Whether or not I messed up or just didn't know their moveset, it doesn't matter. This might sound condescending or something, but trust me, I don't mean anything mean by this. But this is in the truest form of skill issue. And I know saying skill issue sounds mean, but sometimes it's not, like in this scenario. I'm not trying to be mean, but pretty much what I'm trying to say is if you keep playing and attempting, you can win. And I think that saying a game is bad because it's harder for you is just not super fair. Because trust me, these bosses were hard for me at first, and then I started mollywopping them. You just need to put in the time. And actually, before I end this video, I want to say something. My last video on Silksong, I had a lot of backlash, because I didn't beat the game, and I still posted a review. Well, I'm much farther into the game, and guess what? I still think the same thing. All of my points, I still really agree with. Yes, I probably should have made it a lot farther in the game before making that review. I'll own up to that. But I do think that saying my review is bad just because I didn't beat the game, instead of actually listening to my points, is kind of weird. But that's about all I have to say about this. So I'll try to do better. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya!